I just can't wait. I know it's gonna bring me right back. It's gotta be as good as I remember.
No! No! No!
Okay, it's my favorite.
Hello, welcome back to Goosebumps HorrorTown playthrough. Today we're going to be taking a look at something a little bit more better than last time, and that is the next one that came after the recently boring one. I'm not going to talk about that one, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, this one is going to be based on the book Say Cheese and Die. This is going to introduce a few new things. One of them we briefly saw, which is the actual mechanic of the new crafting area, the laboratory. I think it's the Mad Laboratory. I don't know. We're going to find out together, because I forget. But this is also importantly, we get introduced to two new characters. One of them is Dr.Fredricks, aka Spidey. The other one is Chuck. He is a character that we've seen in before during the playthrough, but this is where his introduction gets to begin. We also get a little bit of Professor Shock, but we're not going to talk much about him because he has already been covered before, so yeah. So anyways, I'm not going to go too much of that. Let's just go ahead and dive right in. So anyways, this is level 14 you unlock, and there he is, Dr. Fredricks, in his lab, or his weird place. And you could probably tell when this was updated, but yeah, anyways. I'm gonna click some stuff around here, do this, and see him. He's just about 12,000 coins. This is what he drops. So a lot of sciencey things. Okay, and as you can tell, this was during when I was unlocking the Mad Laboratory, so it was called the Mad Laboratory. Right, so during the Easter event, I finally got the time to get this guy in the lab, so this is what it looks like. Look how cool this is. This is his house. Takes a long time though, and of course at some point we also have to get Chuck. He will be needed for the next part 2, not so much this part coming up. So I can't really do anything yet because, you know, it's being built right now. But yeah, this book is probably one of the more better ones in my opinion, because I like the story about this one. It stays true to the original in the first bit, then it just kind of delves into its new thing, and you get to learn about why Frederick and Eric became a thing. And there he is, look at him. He looks so happy and scientific-y. Quick look at him, but yeah, I think you've seen him before in this game, so I'm not going to bore you on that part. Say cheese and die. So Dr. Fredricks, blah blah blah, and the prize is the cursed image. So
Dr. Fredricks is an eccentric scientist with somewhat disparate ideas. His talent is enormous, but he is cloaked by the shadows of the greatest scientist, Professor Shock.
Verdammt! I do not understand. If the calculations are correct, what error am I committing? Also good. I try again. This time I'll try out with only 75 milliliters.
So try the XP8 reaction again, build a hardware store. Now I am going to apologize if you're a natural German speaker, or it might be the XPB. I don't know what the hell that stands for, but whatever. Yeah, but if you're a German speaker, I want to apologize because I'm going to be butchering some words. And, yeah, so this is the animation of him blowing up. So, if you wanted to know where the animation of Chuck getting blown up during the event went from the, See, I'm trying to think while I'm clapping my hands. I believe it was Welcome to Dead House. There we go. I don't know why that took so long. My memory's trying to block it away because of how bad it was, in my opinion. Also, for some reason, we get this, the complete pack. I'm not 100% sure what this was all about, but I think for a limited time we were able to get all the stuff up to a certain point. But yeah, not gonna buy it. Oh, you know what? This is probably when the May update hit. I'll think about it because this was like no longer here. So anyways, he's done with that. So I have to wait for the hardware store. I think that's why it took so long. And I think I have enough money now to buy it because it is, yeah, so that's what. And I think it drops I'm not sure what that's called again. Anyways.
Look, Dustin, don't miss this. Look at that idiot Dr. Fredricks. He almost lost his head. Have you ever seen anyone more ridiculous than him?
Glad to see we're in Broken Town again, and the small characters have made their appearance.
In the end, everything Professor Shock says about me is true. I am just a beginner. I will never be a man of science if I cannot invent something truly big. I will go to the laboratory and will not rest until I have a new prototype. That work must begin.
Explore to the mad laboratory and craft yourself an electro transfuser. Yeah, so this is what we need to get for the next part for this quest, and what you'll probably notice is that they're gonna kind of go by quickly. And yeah, this is another animation of him just wearing that stupid thing, which we've seen, I think, a bit with Selma. So this is what it looks like, the original on this guy's head. And like I said, the first part's going to be a little bit more about the first book. Also mind the small items and broken, I don't know what's going on there. The other parts are going to be more fun, so we're going to continue.
Wonderful! I have concluded the first step of the prototype by creating the electronic transfuser. Winekulos. The motors show signs of instability and electro-diffraction. I cannot dwell on that now. I must continue if I want to show Shock how wrong he was.
The rivalry continues with those two, huh?
If the wavelength of different beams is higher, then we have the position of the atom. If we multiply that by the atomic form factor, according to the planetic construction, therefore, it gives us a result at 1.21 gigawatts raised to the speed of electronic is... Eureka!
Obtain the Fredricks camera. You need 3 of these. I don't know why he needs 3. One of them would have been just enough. But I get it's just because, I guess, to try to build some time and grind, you'll need suspects' pictures and then the walkie-talkie, which we've probably seen them craft before in the other place there. But yeah, in this part, we're going to see a little bit more of the laboratory, or the Mad Laboratory's crafting ability. So as I was saying, the first part to this Say Cheese and Jai's chapter book in the game, it's going to basically talk morally about the beginning of like Dr. Fredricks and the whole story behind his camera. But then the second and third one is going to be more so world building. We get to introduce to a new character, Chuck. And then the third one is more of an interesting tale that actually kind of is more fun, I will say. Also, I'll show this off. This is her skating. I don't think I've seen this. I showed this animation real close up, but there you go. There, she's doing that, so you get a good idea with that one. And I guess I'm just showing you other characters or people that can drop the walkie-talkies. But yeah, that's where you need to get all the stuff here. Get yourself some photos, all that stuff there. It's been kind of difficult for me to try to evolve my work on this game, especially with trying to make it interesting, entertaining, but also trying to fix some stuff out. I kind of announced during the, currently what we're working on is the Monster Blood, and I kind of announced during that one is that I'm kind of done with the part zeros. Now, I think what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing like how I did it before, where I just kind of do a brief introduction. I'm still going to be debating on that because I still want to do some current involvement, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to save that during the playthrough parts. Hopefully, that'll make it a little bit more better, but we'll just have to wait and see. Also, a close-up of Mar and Mr. Muffin, aka Garfield. Get a closer look at these two. Yeah, but you know, the game's ever evolving, ever changing, and yeah, currently what we're working on now, okay, so I'm not going to talk much about the current event that we're working on, which is the Monster Blood one, because this will be kind of weird and outdated if you're watching this in any parts of the game, so I'm going to be looking at this for here. The interesting part when it comes to Say Cheese and Die, there was another book that came out, there was an actual episode based off of it, and what's interesting is that most of the episodes are actually based off of the locations in Toronto.
I finally achieved it! It can't...
German words I'm not going to butcher.
Ever since I first read Einstein's theory of relativity when I was 10, I knew I wanted to make this device. A camera that can anticipate the events of the future. A kind of genius.
Yeah, what I found interesting with the Goosebumps series is I know it was filmed in Canada, but most of the locations are actually from Toronto. You can actually see there was a forum to talk about all the locations that's actually located there. In fact, I think I managed it with the Masked Mutant. You can actually see the CN Tower, which is an iconic building.
I am anxious to try my new invention. Let's see. It is exactly 1:19 p.m. I'll take a picture of my watch. Starlick! The photograph shows the time is 1:20 p.m. I can see 1 minute to the future. My watch is broken. This must have been caused by the electromagnetic pulses of the transfuser. That boy there is playing with a hornet's nest. Let's see what will happen exactly 1 minute.
Test the camera prototype and stir up the hornet's nets. And this is where we get the unfortunate of like, the realization that the Doctor's weird Batman camera is going to not only just predict the future by a minute, but actually predict some bad future. Now what's interesting is that there was actually a continuation with the Say Cheese and Die series in the new Horrorland book, and my god, that version of the book was so gruesome. It was just, there was a moment in there that just like, man. You know, R.L. Stine can make some grisly stories, I will say that much. One of them being, and this is a close-up of this, because I know this was an animation used during Slappy's Quest, but that was during recording on the emulator, so I wasn't able to kind of zoom in as much as I can now via the editing software. So, we got that going for us, so let's continue finishing this off and find out the last part to this quest line.
Oh, that poor boy. The hornets attacked him. I guess that's what happens when you hit a hornet's nest.
Ah! Get them off me! The hornets are attacking me! Someone help me! Ah!
Do you see what happens to you for bothering those defenseless creatures? You should have listened to me when I warned you to leave that hornet's nest in peace.
Good old Mr. Mortman.
Whining for rest. If I improve this camera, I may see into the distant future. Days, months, or centuries. I could take a picture of the sports calendar, see the results, and bet on the winners. Seal good. I will continue testing the camera. Next, I need something that is in motion. That boy's on a bicycle. I'll see if time remains constant or distorts with movement.
I wonder what boy we're talking about here. Oh well, Marty, it was nice knowing you. I guess it's time for you to die. Yeah, okay, so test the prototype again, and we're gonna have him do his BMX thing. And this is the last part to this first part to the quest, so this is just the introduction to who Spidey is, aka Frederick. And what's weird is that we only knew him as Fredericks, but then his nickname ended up coming in sometime in part 3. You'll see why in a minute, but it is interesting for the most part here. Especially when, and it's cool too that with this game, they kind of do inspirations with trying to combine the books, like keep it traditional with the book of what it's about, but then also kind of blend it in here. And I think a lot of people, that's one of the reasons why they like it, is because of the whole having everyone kind of be in one group kind of deal. And of course there might be minor changes to kind of have them stand out and fit in. And I know my hand in that because of being mostly involved in the game, especially when designing the Christmas update 2019. But I've also had a little bit of handwork since, I think, when it comes to storytelling and some of the idea work, kind of from that. But not so much though, because again, they have people there that does the job. I just suggest things and then they can take it or leave it. But for the most part, they seem to be taking it, which, you know, makes their lives easier. I don't know why. For me in particular, I tend to be more inclined to keep myself busy on something like this, especially since there's so many other good games out there right now, like you know, the hardcore gamers. It's weird. I know people like to poo-poo mobile games for obvious reasons, with the pop-ups and the ads and the "oh, buy this please" and the long waits and the "you should buy this more money," you know, that kind of mobile mentality you kind of learn to expect. But I guess I played this game for a while, just blanked that stuff out. And I think most people like watching me doing this so that they don't have to feel the need to go and force with that BS.
Oh, nine! The chubby child has fallen. I hope it was not because I distracted him with the camera.
What happened? One minute I was riding my bike, and the next I was flat on the ground. Something weird happened. I never missed that trick. It was as if a weird force pushed me down. Ow.
Dr. Fredricks is so engrossed that he fails to see that his camera does more than view the future.
Yay, that was it. So that's the beginning of Say Cheese and Die. It's interesting too because the evolvement of the game, the normal story was a little bit different, I think. But anyways, yeah, so here's Frederick. Chuckbot has come to destroy all of humanity, or at least that's what Chuck imagines his thing to be. And what's interesting about that storyline is that it kind of is true in a little bit, and then it kind of just goes off. Chuck as a character is a weird one because, for the most part, Chuck is a character that is a bit... what's the word? He is interesting in the sense of not only his design but his characteristics. It kind of like, I'm trying to figure out what kind of character he is. I don't think he's a typical fat kid. I think he's more I don't know. I guess it's the typical fat kid. I don't know what they were trying to do with Chuck, but there he is, big boy. Yeah. Okay, so we got our gamer Butterball over here. And we're gonna have Curly talk about him, and it'll be interesting how he kind of takes a hold of it. Listen to the story, you'll see what I mean.
Look, everybody, it's young Chuck Reed. Aren't his chubby cheeks just adorable? I can't wait to follow the story of this particular character. Let us begin.
Wow, it's Attack of the Robots, the new PeopleSoft game. Thanks, Mom. I love you. 8-bit graphics with 256 colors. I'm the luckiest person in the world. In the universe.
Good to calm down, buddy. Plays for modern bench. Play Attack of the Robots and shoot some cans with a slingshot. Now, you'll see that I've just decided, like, normally we're kind of like, oh, place the modern bench. Like, you'll need it just to do the animations required, but it's like, also just kind of placing it in your town to kind of build up its environment to make it look a little bit more pretty. But as you'll see with me in this particular playthrough, I said, you know what, nah, I'll just dump them all in one area, and there you go, all done. Like any other gamer, like, watch. So I'll be like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 park benches, that's perfect. Let's just have them all be there. Oh dear. So this is Chuck Reed. He is an interesting character, especially since, if you see my other playthrough, his storylines are a little bit more interesting. I don't know how to describe the character as a whole, but his storyline here is certainly very imaginative, let's put it that way.
Hey, Chuck. What are you playing? Wow. Is that Attack of the Robots? Yeah, my mom gave it to me for my birthday. You want to play a game? Really? Yes, I want to play. Thanks, Chuck.
Also, PeopleSoft came back again. Oof.
Guess what? The new issue of The Masked Mutant. It has come out, and it's great. This time, the Masked Mutant must face a huge titanium robot. Can you believe it?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, Eric. We can believe it. Hey, guys, I have an idea.
What's your idea, Chuck? Oh, terrorize everyone in town. Great idea. Go ahead and terrorize the town, why don't you? Oh man, the terror of Chadbot. Alright, let's take a look at him. Oh my god, look at it. It's horrifying. It's the scariest thing I've ever seen in this game. The horror. Cardboard robot. You know, I have to give the kid a credit. He is very imaginative. Trying to click the treasure chest, and we're done.
My name is Chuckbot. I have come to destroy humanity, prepared to be annihilated. Oh noes, it's the terrible Chuckbot, the creation of the evil Dr. Fredricks.
Hey, that's not nice, man. What did he ever do to you?
I am Dustin, come from another planet very away, called, Planet X. Dustin from Planet X? Come on, man. You can do better than that.
Isn't Planet X that Duck Dodgers thing, like the planet that he was trying to get through?
Look, it's Mito, the intergalactic surfer who came from the planet Athea. That's right, I'm Mito, the the super surfer, and I've come to help. They can never defeat me. I'm made of titanium, and I'm the most powerful robot in the world.
Oh, he's cheating now. So Sneak and destroy Chuckbot, and Sneak and destroy Chuckbot. So he's gonna do it by doing his animation of patrolling this town in his masked boy costume. Mutant boy? Yeah, mutant boy. And Dustin is going to ride his skateboard, I believe, in his animation. But yeah, the super surfer, huh? Well, let's hope Marvel doesn't hear about this, because they might confuse you with another certain superhero that is a space surfer of sorts. And you know how they are, especially since they're owned by the House of Mouse. Also, this popped up out of nowhere, so yeah, if you want Conrad, there you go. You get his boat too. I didn't even know he had a boat, but there you go. You learn something new every day.
There he is! Chuckbot, your time has come. It would be better if you... Dustin, what the heck do you think you're doing playing with these lame kids?
What are you doing with those groceries?
You know that you'll make us both look like fools if everyone sees you playing with them.
Hey, you changed the channel just when this Chuckbot episode was getting exciting.
Yeah, Curly, I agree with you. What is going on here? Who... Did someone put...
Dustin, tell those dweebs that you are not going to play with their dumb game anymore. Come on, say it. Come on, Dustin. What are you waiting for? Are you also a fool? Tell them now. Chuck, Eric, I don't want to play with your silly games anymore.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
That's right, Justin. Let those idiots keep playing their lame games. Come on, let's go to the arcade.
Man, what a Nelson. Ha ha. Play the Legit Fighter Ultimate. Man, that's a cool name. That's better than the Super Smashy Bros. What was it? I remember reading that somewhere with the stupidest name ever. The Super Smashy Brothers things. Oh, you know what it was? It was the Delta Room, the Sans Meme game. You know what one I'm talking about. I think, yeah, it was a big... I played that through my channel during the live stream age last year, I think, the beginning of it. So, yeah, if you're curious, go look at that. Bad words, though.
Take that, Dustin. And that! It's like your first time playing this game. And the final knockout! I win! Dustin, you're so easy to beat you almost make me feel sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, come and marvel at the young master boasting of his greatness without mercy, and the minion indulging his whims in exchange for gratuitous humiliation. It's so entertaining to watch.
Yes, I know it's merit, but mercy sounds better.
Hey, Eric, do you want to play dinosaurs? No, Chuck. I think I better go home. I'm not in the mood for that. Do you want to play marbles then? My mother gave me a bag full of them. Sorry, Chuck. Some other time, perhaps.
Have placed the marble ring and have him shoot some marbles in the ring. This is the last part to this quest, and it's probably the saddest one because it kind of implies this poor guy. He has such a big imagination, but it's like no one wants to play with him anymore, and he just kind of plays by himself. But you know what? At the same time, he's pretty much a smart kid. Also, I don't know why he has... Why does he have a cat on his shirt? I don't know. Maybe he's a Garfield fan. Oh, could you imagine that thing existing? Especially the Garfield cartoons? I'm sorry, John. Never looked that up, never. Ooh, that is so bad. But anyways, let's conclude with the Chapter 2 storyline. Shall we?
Chuck, the World Marble Champion, has won the Marble Championship for the 5th consecutive year. The audience stands at one to applaud the greatest marble player in the entire world. The whole crowd chants his name. Chuck, 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 Chuck.
Chuck, Chuck, Chuck. He's truly one of a kind.
That he is, and this is the best part of this chapter.
According to the police, the robbery was perpetrated by the Jackson Five, the group named for their costumes. After a frantic and dangerous chase, the delinquents managed to escape. To add the strangest situation, the group fled while dancing to the song Dancing Machine. And speaking of dancing, the scene here, let's play right now.
Did you hear that? A robbery! Are you guys ready to solve a real police case?
Obtain some ultra scanners, 2 of them, and yes, this has got to be the weirdest quest that came out of nowhere during this part. And what's funny about it too is that when I thought of the Jackson 5, I immediately thought of something like this guy popping in here, literally one guy with like 4 dummies attached to him, just walking about. And can you just imagine him dancing to the Jackson 5? I mean, that's a pretty good song. Also, here comes some other quest. I don't know if I've included or not, but I'll throw it in here just in case I forgot to in my other parts.
Hey, Morton, what do you have there? Is that your dinner? Seder. That's right, it's my dinner, and I plan to go into my library to enjoy it. Do you need something? Well, not really. I was in the basement all afternoon, and now I'm starving.
Oh, I see what's going on here.
I understand. Would you like to try one of these bruschettas that I have planned to eat myself? For real? Thank you. They're delicious. I hope it doesn't bother you that they have cockroaches in it. Ha!
Sell some roach bruschettas. And, yeah, I didn't put any sound effects on there. I apologize. I was lazy. Come on, I was doing enough as it is. Like, I put the Jackson 5 dancing machine in there. What do you want me to do? Oh, speaking of which, I added that stupid thing in the end because I really thought... It's one of those things where you would see some radio host would do that. Just like, oh, so sad. Coming up next, here's this song. So I'm like, that would be perfect. They're just listening to the radio and they're like, oh man, they went away for Dancing Machine. Oh, anyways, here's Dancing Machines right now. It's like, I don't know. Well, that was the introduction to Diamond Eddie. He is a radio DJ and one of the many useless NPCs that walks around. Maybe we'll see more of the other ones like Kim and the officer. Like, we haven't seen the firefighter a lot or the doctor so much. Oh yeah, and this is him with his Annihilator 4000. Look at that badass robot. That's so cool. Man, that's so awesome. He's like that rich kid. You know what it is? His parents must be rich and they just give him stuff just to kind of like, yeah, you know what, honey, here you go. Here's a toy. Let's leave mommy alone. That seems like what this kid is, right? He just gets bought some of these most prized stuff without really knowing that. Man, when I'm thinking about this whole kid's life just seems more sadder when I think about it. I'm not going to think about it no more. I don't want to think much about that. We need to do some funny stuff. Right, with Diamond Eddie. Right, let's go back to that. Diamond Eddie is one of the other useless characters in the sense of he doesn't really have much of a story. However, he's going to be needed in one of the other storybooks coming up, which is Be Careful What You Wish For. And this is where we're going to get more into the teens of this story. I think they're they might as well be teenagers because they look like it, right? And also we get to introduce to another interesting character in the story. But anyways, Legacy, Dociel, and Eric faces the Mystery Club, many mysteries except their evil Professor Shock. Introducing with creepy cyborgs. Yeah, so this is where they accidentally kind of go into meeting who Shock is as a person. And mind you, this whole thing happens before you go into Professor Shock. In fact, what you'll end up seeing is near the end of this video, once I've done everything, I end up getting level 17s and unlocking Shock. No, actually, I already unlocked him at this point. Yeah, but for some reason I ended up getting Professor Shock pop up out of nowhere. So yeah, that was fun to know. That would have been an interesting way to end it off. But yeah, anyways, I'll continue on with this story with Eric.
It's an ultrasonic scanner. I can use it to detect anomalies in the DNA chain of a person in front of me.
That is so interesting. Have you made this ultrasonic scanner alone?
Yeah, it wasn't really that difficult. I just used a walkie-talkie and some electronic components.
Man, he's selling himself short.
You have impressed me with your talent in manipulation electronics, child. What is your name?
My name is Eric Tyson, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Well, my name is Fritz Fredericks, but you can call me Spidey. The pleasure is all mine.
The Fredericks? You mean the one that he made fun of you before? Oh, no!
Here, Eric, take my card. You can come visit me at my lab whenever you want.
Yeah, it was weird the fact that it's like, he meets Frederick, right? And he's like, oh man, evil Fredericks, he's so bad. Then he meets the guy and he's just like, yeah, you know what, you're a smart kid. Here, why don't you, whenever you want to go into my lab to make some stuff, come into my lab. I don't know. You can tell the intentions were there. I like the idea that Fredericks isn't an evil guy like he was in the books, but he was more so just a guy who's trying to invent something to be like a famous inventor, and he ends up inventing something that is interesting, but ends up being negative. But he doesn't even realize that at the first. But yeah, what can you do?
Lucy, I fabricated this device that allows target location through the triangulation of the radio signals.
For real? I knew you were good at electronics, but this is really incredible. Let me see. I entered the coordinations here and... voila! I found the Jackson 5 gang!
Oh man, that is so weird.
Okay, thanks to Eric's device, we know the location where the Jackson 5 gang is located. Let me see if my calculations are correct. It should be in that direction, just above this hill. It's very dark. I can't see anything. I need a device that allows me to see in the dark. Oh, Eric!
Oh, I see. Eric is your homeboy, eh? He's only there just to invent stuff for you, huh, Lucy? Shame. Yeah, I think what the other weird thing is with the Jackson 5, at some point there are weird side missions talking about like adding more stuff, and I think Mayor Johnson and then the officer was talking about them at some point.
Look! There! There are lights in the old factory! Apparently it's not abandoned like everyone says. That can only mean two things. The economy is growing again and demands of refrigerators have increased. Or that's where the Jackson 5 group is hiding. Let's find out.
Eric, I didn't understand. What's all that about refrigerators?
Oh, Dustin, you goofball.
Alright, we know where the Jackson 5 gang is hiding. Let's go investigate.
Lucy, don't you think it would be better to call the police? I mean, it's a gang of criminals.
Is that young Eric I see skulking there? What is he doing with those children? Oh, nine! They're going to Professor Shock's factory! I have to warn them not to go there!
Too late. They're going to the Cliff Factory zone. Oh dear. Yeah, but this is what I'm talking about. At some point, the mayor's just like, hey, we need to... There's these weird tracks. I wonder where they lead into, right?
What is going on? What are these children doing entering my property? They will quickly learn what happens when they go around sticking their noses where they don't belong.
I like the design they give to Professor Shock there.
Children, what are you doing here? This is not a safe place to play. You should go home immediately.
Hey, Spidey. We're looking for the Jackson 5. They're a band of criminals. Do you know them?
Don't worry, Dr. Fredricks. We have a club that solves all kinds of mysteries. And...
Aha! Now I understand. I should have known you were behind this, Fritz. Did you think you and your army of children could defeat me? Now you will see what I am capable of.
Oh no, Spawn the cyborgs and two cyborg hackers. Oh yeah, and this is where Megan and the Tunnel of Love of the Shaggy comes into play. But yeah, we'll talk about them. Well, I mean, the Shaggy, I think I'm going to talk about them with the other stuff. Oh yeah, and there's Eddie and his radio tower, by the way. Oh man, this was taking place during the camping event in June. Man, how time flies when you're just doing... You can see how long these take for me to kind of get done and going, and it's just like, just taking my time with, but it's like, in these videos they go by seconds, so you don't really realize how long sometimes these things take. And yeah, this is the last episode, by the way, so after this next quest line, that's it. So we're gonna put these cheap guys from the cyborg factories just to spawn them out. What you'll probably notice too is I'm not going to zooming in on these guys because, again, I have talked about them in their own separate videos, namely the creepy creations of Professor Shuck. I believe it's what it's called. That signature yawning that you've come to expect about Goosebumps HorrorTowns from good old Grimmy Boy. Gotta put you to bed and get yourself some goosebump nightmares. But, yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm not gonna zoom in with this because you've probably seen them before. You know, him and the boys. Meme. Anyways, yeah, you know what, I'll say this. Moving forward with all these other stuff, we got out of the boring stuff. We got rid of the blob, which is great. That was painful. We got through the black ring, which was also painful because it was mostly boring. And a lot of information dumping. And no real characters, by the way. It was more so just grinding some stupid items for like half a year. And then the other interesting thing too about this whole thing is the fact that when it came to, what was it? Yeah, so those two were the worst ones, and now we're kind of moving on to the more better stuff, the more fun things that don't really have any bad problems with. But yeah, what are you gonna do with that? We're gonna craft that stuff there. Yeah, I see that. I don't think... oops, not enough monies. Oh well, oopsie doopsie. I have no idea why that, kind of just doing that, especially since we don't need that. I think this is the last... Yep, this will be the last one for us here, so here we go.
Ich Heibel is Griesfuck. I managed to intercept the cyborg's controller system and deactivated them. No! This cannot be! That rookie Dr.Fredricks has ruined my cyborgs!
Thanks, Spidey. You saved us. You have saved us all from the cyborg threat.
I could never have done it without your help, Eric Tyson.
And that's how they became friends. Dun 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 dun. Oh man, yeah, there's no like ending screen of hooray you did it, despite that would be the ending of it. And what's weird about it too, well, by the way, this is how much you need for, yeah, so that's all you need to get the cursed image, which is the iconic, I think that's based off of the Say Cheese and Die Again kind of picture, which is interesting. But yeah, that's about it. That's all this update had to offer, and honestly, it's not that bad. I actually did enjoy it. There wasn't much of the Say Cheese and Die. It was only like 1/3 of it, but the whole story altogether actually wasn't that bad. You got to see more of Dr. Fredricks, got introduced to a new character, who was interesting despite we not knowing a whole lot of them, and it kind of makes a sadder story when you think about it long term, but yeah. Anyways, with this being said, the next story coming up, normally, originally, if we were going through the books, the next one that was going to come up would be the story behind Megan and, I think his name is Greg, yeah, Megan and Greg, as well as a bit with Brooke, with Clarissa, with the Be Careful What You Wish For update. However, in this particular moment, and I'm not going to explain why, because I know what's coming up in the near future. I'm going to hold that off for June, and instead I am going to, for May, I'm going to be looking at the Calling All Creeps. So the next story I'm going to be covering in here will be Calling All Creeps, and I'm thinking what I'm going to be doing is once I get everything done in July, because I think that's when I'm going to be able to do the final one, which is the Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. Yeah, finally, we're going to end it off on the, where my people come in. But, yeah, once that's done, I think I'm going to do is I'm going to, like, normally I was holding 4 things off because of this unknowing, but knowing now, I'm kind of thinking that there may not be extra add-ons to these particular storybooks for now, as far as I know. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to add these 4 together in one final bonus video of sorts, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I mean, it might change while we're playing through this, but yeah, as we speak, that's the game plan. And then I'm gonna have to be looking at how I'm gonna be doing these events moving forward, and what else I'm gonna be doing after this whole said and done. But yeah, that'll be it from me from now. And yeah, I think that'll be it. That's it. So, until then, I've been Grim, and I'll be seeing you with whatever comes up in Goosebumps HorrorTown. Until then, I will say to you, be careful on taking pictures, because you don't know the end results. You may turn into a big fat guy.